travel consultant and a customer. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 4. You will see that there is an example which has been done for you. On this occasion, only the conversation relating to this will be played first. Good afternoon, Cloud Time Travel, how can I help you?
Oh, hello. I'm interested in the 2-night holiday package you offer with one added hiking tour.
Yes, we have a hotel stay and offers several tours into the mountains. Which tour are you most interested in?
Well, I like the sound of the mountain hiking guided tour.
Oh, that's our main hiking tour. It's called Peak Experience. It's very popular, and it starts from the hotel. So Peak Experience has been written on the form. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 4. Good afternoon, Cloud Time Travel, how can I help you?
Oh, hello. I'm interested in the 2-night holiday package you offer with one added hiking tour.
Yes, we have a hotel stay and offers several tours into the mountains. Which tour are you most interested in?
Well, I like the sound of the mountain hiking guided tour.
Oh, that's our main hiking tour. It's called Peak Experience. It's very popular, and it starts from the hotel.
Brilliant. And how long does it last?
It's 6 hours. That includes 3 hours travel time each way from the hotel.
Good. That's a suitable amount of time for a hike.
Yes. There will be 2 guides, with a maximum of 15 people in your tour group.
Brilliant. So do you run these tours often?
Well, it depends on the time of year. Of course, at peak times, like the summer holidays, we do them every day. But at the moment, it's usually twice a week.
And when is the next one going?
Let me see. There is one open in 2 weeks' time, which is June the 17th. And then, we don't have another one until June the 19th.
All right. Do you think June is a good time to go?
It's the best time. We expect no rain at that time.
What about the hotel?
Of course. The hotel where you stay has great facilities. It's called the Dutch Hotel.
How do you spell that?
Dutch. It's the best hotel in the town.
Oh, I see.
All of the rooms are clean and have nice views. And the food is really good there too.
Brilliant.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 5 to 10. Now, listen and answer questions 5 to 10.
And what about the other tours?
Oh, there are a few other easier mountain hikes. We have a tour called River Walk. That tour takes 2 hours. There is also a sunrise tour, but you will need to wake up at 4 in the morning if you wish to join that tour.
I think I'll just stay with the Peak Experience tour.
And if you just want to relax, you're free to sit by the hotel pool or go shopping in town.
Well, that sounds good. So how much is the hotel stay including the Peak Experience hiking tour?
It's usually around $200, but let me check. Oh, it's actually $205 per person.
Are there any places available for the next tour?
How many people is it for?
Just me and my wife.
Yes, there are spots available. Can I just mention that we require all bookings to be made at least 7 days before you travel. And if you cancel, you will have to pay 60% of the fee.
I understand.
And you also need to pay a $30 deposit at the time of booking.
Can I pay that by credit card?
Yes, that's possible.
Brilliant. I'll talk to my wife and get back to you.
Can I get your first and last name to make a provisional booking?
Yes, it's Harry Court. K-O-R-T.
Great. That is the end to section 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 2. Section 2. You will hear a review of 3 different cameras on a radio show. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 17. Now, listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 17.
Hello, and welcome to our Top Tech Radio Show. On our show, we'll give you some great tips on how to spend your money wisely for new tech gadgets. Now, in today's show, we are looking at cameras for taking the best pictures. And as usual, we'll feature the good points, the problems, and our verdict. Let's start by looking at the Smart Click model. This model's for the hobby photographer. We had 3 testers test this camera for a week. The Smart Click model has several good points to recommend. Our testers like the fact that it has autofocus. So, it is easy to focus. But the camera is not perfect. The main problem with this camera is that it has no case to carry it in. Without a case, it can be easily damaged. It's unfortunate that they do not include a case with this camera. Hopefully, in future versions, they will include this necessary equipment. Our testers have given this camera model a verdict of satisfactory. The next camera that the testers looked at is by Top Click. And this time, our testers were pleased to find a camera which is simple to use. On the other hand, our testers did not like the fact that the color of the camera is red, making it not visually attractive. However, the real problem with this camera is the cost. This is one of the most expensive cameras on the market. We feel this was a little too expensive, and so, we've labeled this one overpriced.
Before you hear the rest of the program, you have some time to look at questions 18 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 18 to 20.
And finally, our review of the Best View camera. This camera is slightly different in that it comes with multiple lenses. There are different camera lenses for the type of shot you require. It has a special lens for close-ups and another lens if you want to take pictures from a distance. The negatives for this one were quite minor. This camera is very heavy. It's a little difficult to hold as it weighs so much. Some testers were worried that they might even drop the camera if they weren't careful. The makers of the camera have now promised to reduce the weight in future models. Considering that there were so many lenses, the testers determined that this camera is practical. When looking for a camera, every user will have their own individual needs. We hope our reviews have helped you to pick the camera that is best suited for you. Thank you for listening, and we hope you take beautiful pictures with your new camera.
That is the end of section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 3. Section 3. You will hear a conversation between a student, Jesse, and a student advisor, Stephen, about a new management course. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25. Now, listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 25.
Excuse me, I was told to come here for advice about management courses.
You've certainly come to the right place. My name's Stephen.
My name's Jessie. Jessie Shaw.
Welcome to my office. So Jessie, have you seen our course outline yet?
Yes, I've already looked at it. In fact, I thought the information on the course content was really useful. But I'm a little confused by all the different ways you can do the course. I see I have many options, including online courses, or full-time offline, or intensive part-time, and so on. I'm not sure what's best for me.
Well, let's see if I can help. I think each course type has its advantages and disadvantages, so it really depends on you. Also, we need to consider your own study habits and your financial circumstances, of course. Are you working at the moment?
Yes, I've been working as a teller at a bank for the last 2 years, and before that, I worked in the office of a computer company for 1 year, so I've got about 3 years of relevant work experience.
I see. And are you planning to leave your current job to study? Or are you planning to continue to work while taking the management course?
For now, I want to know what my options are. I don't really want to quit my job just yet. And my boss is keen for me to get some more qualifications. But obviously, it would be better if I could do a course without taking too much time away from work.
Were you thinking of doing the full-time offline course?
No, not really. It's also a question of finances. You see, my office have agreed to pay the cost of the course for me. But I would have to take unpaid leave if I want to study full-time. Unfortunately, I don't think I could afford to support myself with no salary for a whole year.
Okay, well you have 2 choices. First, you could do the part-time course, offline. As a part-time student, you could take the course over 2 years without taking any time off of work. Or if that doesn't suit you, you could do what we call a modular course, online, in 18 months. The online course is quite flexible and you can study around your work schedule.
When do I do the part-time courses?
For that, you would join an evening class and have a lecture twice a week. Then you'd have to attend a seminar or discussion workshop 1 weekend a month.
What kind of coursework would I have to do?
Well, it's a mixture. You'd be expected to write an essay each month, which counts towards your final assessment. Also, you have a case study to do by the end of the course, which might involve doing a survey or something similar. And also, you need to hand in a short report every 4 weeks. So that's quite a lot of work.
It sounds like a lot of studying. I think it would also be really tiring.
Yeah, you certainly wouldn't have much free time.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 26 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 26 to 30.
What about the online modular course? What would I have to do?
For that, well, that's where you get the opportunity to study whenever it is convenient for you. That way you can cover a lot of coursework in your free time or at the weekend. And each module lasts for one term, say about 12 weeks at a time. There are obvious advantages in this, the main one being that you can study in a much more intensive way, which suits some people much better. But, you should know, the module courses are a little more expensive than the part-time program.
And how many of these modules would I have to do to get the diploma?
The current program is 2 modules, and then you have to choose a final topic to work in more depth. Most working students base the final topic on their job. I'd like to mention that many working students prefer the online modules. By studying online, you have complete control over how you manage your time.
It certainly sounds attractive. But, it would be more expensive. I will have to check the types of programs and course fees with my boss and get back to you.
I understand. I hope to hear from you again very soon.
That is the end of section 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 4. Section 4. You will hear part of a presentation given by a student about stress. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now, listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Wherever you are, and whatever you're doing, you can't stay away from stress, yet you can figure out ways to deal with it. Having stress is a natural way to react to any mental, physical, and emotional factor that can cause mental tension or any response to a change. Stress is both outside and inside of us. External events, or situations, can cause stress. In addition, the internal thoughts, the way we see an event, or the way we cope with changes can also be characterized as stress. Stress can be caused by social events, overthinking, environmental, and psychological situations. Let's talk about stressors. Stressors are simply any event or situation that causes stress. It can be physical or mental. For example, a student has to give a speech in front of his class. The one thing he or she doesn't want to happen in this situation is getting embarrassed in front of his or her classmates. This student will start thinking, what will happen if I make a mistake, or the teacher asks a question he or she doesn't know the answer to? Understandably, all of this going through his or her head will eventually cause stress. To avoid stressors, you must change specific behaviors. For example, if you're a caffeine, alcohol, or nicotine addict, you must reduce the amount you take every day till you stop taking it. A stress response, or fight or flight, is the reaction the body takes when exposed to a certain situation. The stress response can be emotional, including insecurity, anxiety, depression, guilt, and anger. It can be behavioral, including smoking, poor appearance, aggressive speaking, fidgeting, and nail biting. And physical, including insomnia, headache, weight loss, weight gain, or an increase in heart rate. We come across several situations and activities in life that make our daily life stressful. And being stressful is usually not healthy for our well-being. Fortunately, stress can be managed or be normalized. To cope with the stressful times in your life, adopting humorous views towards life situations and just laughter can be beneficial to your well-being. Other methods such as yoga and meditation have been proven to be quite effective in controlling one's stress. When considering stress, we must also consider whether stress is either beneficial or harmful. Some people believe it has a negative impact on their lives and that it is the principal reason for anxiety and health problems. However, others think that stress could be useful since it lets them become accountable for their actions and encourages them to be better citizens. But the more scientists learn about it, the more it seems that there are two ways to experience stress. On the one hand, if it is long-term lived, it will be unhealthy. Whereas on the other hand, helpful, if it is short-term lived. Furthermore, it is all about the perception of stress. If someone looks at it as a threat, then it is a threat. This is because when persons perceive it as a danger, their mind will release hormones in the bloodstream. These hormones will alter their mental experience and behavior and can even cause serious implications and lead them to use drugs or medications. In contrast to that, if stress is perceived as a positive thing, it will enable the person to gain control over it, because psychologically, if someone believes in something and convince themselves about it, the mind will believe it. So, if everyone puts in their mind that the stressful situation they are in will give them strength and energy, then they are capable to meet challenges and increase their performance. Thus, they are healthier and less stressed.
That is the end of section 4. You now have half a minute to check your answers. That is the end of the listening test. In the real IELTS test, you would now have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet.